I wish that we had more transparent conversations with how we think and how we feel and how we unpack things, because young people, I think we often have very prescriptive messages for them. But to just say, this is a tough thing, and this is a multifaceted thing, and I can understand why you would want to stay, right? But also, like let's talk about it. I mean, the question that saved my life was, if a student was suffering the way you were suffering, what would you tell them? And so when you started asking me that, I was like, if you ask me that question, I'm going to like lose my mind, because that's the question that started my whole self-love journey. But that's even an even better question, because for me, my answer demonstrates kind of how I try to approach working with young people, to say, I don't have the answers and this is tough, and I will sit with you and walk through these things, and I will treat you the way, if I can show kids how they deserve to be treated.
Yeah.
At least they have an example of it, right? That's my one thing, is like, because I don't know what kids have in their friendships. I don't know what they have in their home lives. But if my kids can say, there's one person that treats me with respect, there's one person, and I know how I feel, right? Then maybe that's evidence for them that they can seek those relationships out, but then to sit with them and talk about it, so they don't have to process it by themselves, right? So it can be more of a struggle to figure out what I deserve and what I should have in my life, versus suffering around only responding to these subconscious deep things of run or stay with the hurt or stay with the toxic, right?
Yeah. Well, I think you as a fellow educator, you read through my question, and you came back to it. So you knew probably what I was doing. You sensed it. And you caught on. So I don't need to say the other sentence, right?
I mean, honestly, I would love to hear you say the other sentence, because I don't know how it was being framed around myself, honestly. Yeah. I've never had anyone, like, I don't know what that scenario has to do with me and myself. So I'd love to hear from you where you actually were thinking around that.
Yeah. You said your mean friend said to you, you missed your shot. Your mean friend said, you're not that good. Your mean friend said, yeah, you can't really do this. And there were things that you were saying to yourself that Donovan was saying that was getting in the way of this dream. And so what I heard that you were saying to yourself, the messages you were telling yourself, what I was hearing, and I was like, well, what if that's why I asked you, because I know that sometimes we miss our own best medicine.
Oh yeah.
You have incredible medicine of love and empathy and kindness and respect. And sometimes we're so mean to ourselves. I think you said I've been mean. I've been so I tried to write it, but I was like, where was it at? But you said beating myself up. There it is. Beating myself up. I've been beating myself up. And that's why I phrased it in terms of what would you tell a student?
Well, you want to know what I would tell a student? Literally, Hold on 1 second. I don't want it to unplug. This is why it's wild. My keynote is BYOBF, be your own best friend. That is literally what I'm teaching kids about. And the way that I like how you phrased it is because it also helped me realize, it helped me kind of take the poison out of those actions and ask myself, why am I doing that? And the reason that I'm doing that is that I'm trying to protect myself. I'm trying to protect myself from rejection and abandonment. So to have all these people online say, I love you. I mean, I'll talk to someone once and they're like, you're my new favorite person. I love you. And I'm like, you don't know me. You don't know me. You love the work I'm doing. And so I get so anxious and I know what it feels like to lose love. And I'm so afraid of love being taken away from me that I'm not willing. So I'd rather try to scare myself out of the dream so I can avoid it than actually put myself out there. But I have a bigger fear now of not seeing the life I've worked for, to not allowing myself to see it and not allowing myself to thrive the way that I know I can. So it gets very conflicting because I know I'm trying to take care of myself, but I don't want to just survive. That's the way that I've been taking care of myself for years, has been about survival. And that's so much with kids. I don't want kids to just survive. I want them to thrive, right? You can survive with an education, right? But that's why you have all these adults who are struggling and doing inner child work and stuff like that, is because they're not thriving. They're unhappy in their jobs. They're unhappy in their relationships. The most common thing is that they're just mean to themselves. They're so tough on themselves, or they're mean to other people, right? Because they can't deal with it. And so for me, I don't want kids to just survive. I need them to thrive, because thriving also builds more humanity in people, and it allows them to connect with pieces of themselves that become more altruistic. You know, the work on its own, I had a person say that this work wasn't important because kids are so self-indulgent already, and all they care about is how they look and how other people see them. But what I'm trying to explain is that this work is not for other people to see them. It's for them to see themselves. Yeah. Right. I've never met a person who is truly thriving who hurts and harms other people. I just haven't. And I think the people who do that are people who genuinely have disorders, right? Like those, when you think about like sociopaths or narcissists and stuff like that, like those things make sense. But for the most part, people who are awful to other people, or people who are so negative, it's them trying to take care of themselves, right? I'll reject you before you can reject me.